Today, the March for Life in Cologne takes place, and I'm here at the Pro-Life get-together with Lauren Handy and Caroline Smith from the Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising from the States. Lauren and Caroline, you came all the way from the States here to Germany. Why?
Well, at POW, we believe in international solidarity with the people in Europe and actually across the world, because only 1% of abortions are happening in America, and it's like we care about the 99% as well. And we live in a post-war world in America, and we're seeing a lot of what the pro-aborts did in America. Those tactics are starting to happen in Europe as well. That people are getting arrested, people are being criminalized, pro-life speech is being criminalized, and so we wanted to come here to show solidarity and to learn, be co-strugglers in this fight against abortion.
Yeah, we're just realizing that obviously we're all fighting the same thing, and I think the abortion industry really wants us to feel separated and wants all of us to feel very alone, and this is a way to counter that and make sure that we all know that we are in this fight together and we need to help each other and learn from each other. So that's exactly what we've been doing.
How did the two of you personally become involved in the pro-life movement?
I became involved when I found out what abortion was. I saw a picture of an aborted child and immediately knew that there was nothing else I could do with my life besides try to stop abortion. And so I've been involved since I was in high school, and I've been working with POW for a couple years now.
Yeah, so in 2013, I was going to college to work in a museum, and I saw a video of an abortion, and it just wrecked my entire life. I couldn't imagine living in this world where people, babies, children were being murdered. And so I went sidewalk counseling, which is going outside of abortion businesses and offering help to these moms, and then seeing the second victim of abortion, these girls being dragged in by these boyfriends. And it was so heartbreaking that I literally dropped out of college to do this full time.
And are there any glory stories, any stories where you were able to save children's lives?
Yeah, so over the past decades now, I've been sidewalk counseling outside hundreds of abortion facilities all across America, and I personally have helped over 800 families choose life. And, you know, I keep my word. I walk the walk, talk the talk, both, because it's like I took care of a child for the first year of his life in Mason in Louisiana, because I told the mom as she was going in for the abortion, I'll do whatever I need to do, and that include raising him for the first year of his life.
Yeah, well, one story that I really love that kind of shows the different types of tactics that we try to use, and we understand that people who are vulnerable to abortion are all going to be online, so we try to use our online outreach as much as possible. Couple years, 2 years ago, we posted a video on our TikTok page of one of our activists sidewalk counseling. She was calling out to mothers, and we posted a video of that online, and it went viral, and we had many people reaching out to us, but one mom in particular reached out and said, "Hey, you're saying that you'll help me. Is that actually true? Will you actually help me?" And we did, and she just needed some help to get some housing. She needed a safe place to stay, and we were able to secure that for her immediately, and she kept her baby, and we helped get her all the supplies she needs, and she was able to, on her own, get back on her feet. And it's, you know, there's story after story just like that, and it's really definitely rewarding to see these people that are now alive because we've taken those steps to be brave and just put it out there that we're willing to help anybody that needs it.
So a lot of the young people that I talked to after your talk were so fascinated that you say, hey, we're progressive, we're left in our political views, but we're pro-life. Like, this persona does not exist in the public narrative here. What's your take on that?
Well, to me, I mean, there's, you know, lots of different routes you can go down of how we've come to this place, but to me, it's simply, it makes sense that being pro-life aligns with all of my other views and my other values. I am somebody who is fully against aggressive violence in every situation. I'm against euthanasia. I'm against war. I'm against all of these things that typically line up with someone who is progressive, who is trying to better the world as much as they can. And to me, it makes complete sense and is consistent with all of my other views that I would also be against aggressive violence against people who are not born yet. Throughout history, there's been people who have been targeted for a specific characteristic, a specific group of people because of that characteristic that have been targeted with violence and oppression. And right now we are dealing with that exact same thing happening with preborn people. So it's very consistent to me. And I think kind of just thinking about it that way can help people understand that it would make sense to be leftist and progressive and also be against abortion. And we try to be as loud as we can about that because we know that there are people, lots of people out there who would agree with that as well, but they're silenced and told that if they want to be progressive or leftist or Democrat, they have to be pro-abortion. And I just say I don't think that's true.
Yeah. It's very uncompelling to me. The abortion industry is exploiting vulnerable families for profit. And I think that's actually something we can all agree with, that this is a dangerous business. And if someone is human, they are deserving of human rights, personhood rights. And the preborn are human, and as a progressive, I'm going to be advancing their rights. And it's like what Caroline said, we are against all forms of aggressive violence, but what is particularly tragic about abortion is like they're the vulnerable of the vulnerable. There is no one to help them. There's no one to fight for them. And so that's where we come in. And like, I definitely know that there are people out there who do hold similar views from us, but the abortion industry puts so much shame and pressure that they keep their views silent. And like, once again, that's why we're so loud, being like, anybody can be anti-abortion. Anybody can be anti-abortion. And that's what I hope the biggest takeaway is, that you should be pro-life, you should be anti-abortion, because it's murder and we are against murder.
So prior to the march here in Cologne, there's been some critics writing that the march isn't actually about protecting life, but about discriminating people of the so-called LGBTQ community. What's your impression on that?
I actually think it's offensive to say that LGBTQ, whatever, queer liberation, we need to kill our children to have liberation. I like, why is that our only option? And it's actually very offensive, and I don't believe we need to use violence to advance our own rights. And I believe there are ways that we can create society without discrimination, without violence, equal opportunity to housing and jobs, or whatever people feel that is lacking because of certain expressions or sexuality, without the use of violence. It's so offensive to say that as a queer person, I have to commit violence to get rights.
Yeah. No. And it just, to me, it's a shallow argument, because we know, and anybody can find this information, that queer people are specifically targeted by the abortion industry, and they are some of the highest people with the highest likelihood to get abortions. So to me, it sounds cheap and shallow to know that this industry is specifically targeting people who are queer, and then saying also that so are we. We're the ones, pro-life people are the ones targeting them, when it's actually the complete opposite. So it doesn't compel me, really, and I just think that, like you said, it doesn't make any sense to solve a financial issue or any type of difficulty that someone comes across in life, an unplanned pregnancy, immediately with violence. And not only that, but having to pay even more money to have someone commit violence against you and your family. It doesn't make sense. And
the abortion's not going to give you the job. Right. The abortion is not going to suddenly make your housing affordable. The abortion is not going to get you out of intimate partner violence. It's just going to leave you with the trauma of a dead child. And then also not being able to find housing, also not being able to have access to food. And so it's just, I find that a straw man argument very uncompelling, because the abortion industry they're highly manipulative. And
I think if they really, really did care about these people and truly wanted to help achieve liberation, they would have to do a whole lot more than just offer an abortion. There's a lot more going on, and it seems fake to me to claim that you're trying to achieve liberation for people when all you do is hurt them and their family and kick them out the door after taking their money.
Read the room.
Exactly.
So I have one last question for you, Lauren.
Yeah.
You're a Catholic convert.
Yes.
What sparked your conversion?
So that's a really great question. When I was in California, Southern California, specifically Riverside, I was going counseling 6 days a week by myself. And at the end of the week, hundreds of babies were murdered in front of me, and it felt so much despair, so much hopelessness. I didn't know what to do, but there were people on my team who were Catholic, and they had a sense of joy in their life that I could not access. And I was like, what is going on? Why do I hate everything, hate life? Because it's like, you're overwhelmed with death all the time. And that's when they told me about redemptive suffering, that there is meaning to our suffering, there's purpose to our suffering, and that we don't just have to be passive, we can be active change makers by uniting our suffering to Jesus Christ. And I was like, okay, I've never heard of that. I'm a Southern Baptist. And so it was really hard, because I was actually a Catholic bigot. Where I grew up, you hate Catholics. You don't know anything about Catholics. You're not friends with Catholics. And so for me, it was just like I grew up hating Catholics for no reason. And so it was a lot of painful unlearning, realizing I had a lot of things wrong, and then going forward and having to have an open mind that, okay, I'm wrong, so what is right? And, all roads lead to Rome, as they say. And that's where it found. And, I feel like there's so much beauty in the liturgy, and it grounds me because, we're out here fighting for life, and it can feel so all-encompassing, but hope, grounding ourselves in that theological virtue of hope, is what sustains my work.
Caroline and Lauren, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the march.
Thank you.